Good afternoon. As the Dean of the College of Engineering, it's my pleasure to welcome you here today as we recognize the College of Engineering's Fall 2017 Baccalaureate class. I'll begin by introducing our platform officials. When I call your name, please stand. Sue Curry, Executive Vice President and Provost. Keynote speaker Mark Wisner, the James B. Duke Professor of Civil and Environmental Engineering at Duke University. Nicole Grossland, Professor and Chair of Biomedical Engineering. Alan Guyman, Professor and Chair of Chemical and Biochemical Engineering. Michelle Scherer, Professor and Chair of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Matthews Jacob, Associate Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Yang Chen, Professor of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering. Cecilia Wolf, our student speaker from Civil Engineering. Tanya Peoples, Associate Dean of Diversity and Outreach. And the marshal who led the graduates in today, John Kuhl, Associate Dean of Academic Programs. Finally, there's faculty recognition candidates who will introduce in a few minutes, so I won't introduce them now. Today we celebrate an important point in the life of our graduates and the beginning of new challenges that will draw upon the knowledge and experiences they have gained as students here at the University of Iowa. Our graduates are well prepared to meet the professional challenges and opportunities they will encounter as engineers, and we take pride in their accomplishments. A small token of our appreciation for their hard work and dedication, we've given each a medallion symbolic of their accomplishments, and they're wearing that medallion over their gown today. Let me just name a few of the specific achievements of this graduating class to give you an idea. 41 of these graduates completed the requirement for minors. 24 received credit for co-op or internship experiences. 7 will receive university honors. 5 will graduate with distinction. 4 graduates were presidents of engineering student organizations. 2 of these students will graduate with a double major. 2 served the college as student ambassadors. 1 participated in the Student Leadership Institute. 1 served as a peer advisor. Many of these graduates have been actively involved in student organizations. Others have been involved in academic research. Some graduates enriched our community through their volunteer efforts, and some studied abroad. Others have worked to fund their own education. Some are the first in their family to receive a college degree. We also take pride in our students who have served in the armed forces, and I invite the veterans in our graduating class to stand, and the veterans in our audience to stand to receive our appreciation. Yeah. The accomplishments and academic achievements of the graduates build from the devotion of talented faculty. This semester, the graduating seniors from each program selected a faculty member to be recognized today for their excellence in teaching and dedication to student learning. Faculty, as I call your names, please come to the front of the stage to be recognized. Seth Dillard, lecturer in biomedical engineering. We'll hold our applause till the end, I guess. I know it's difficult to, especially for Seth, but Alan Guyman, Professor and Chair of Chemical and Biochemical Engineering. Richard Foss, lecturer in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Anton Kruger, Professor in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Ruben Beltran Del Rio, a lecturer in Industrial Engineering who is unable to be here today. And Kamran Samani, a lecturer in Mechanical Engineering, also unable to be here today. So please join me in recognizing these outstanding faculty. Cecilia Wolf is a civil and environmental engineering student whose degree marks the 16th from the University of Iowa in her family. She grew up a Hawkeye in Denver, Colorado, where she graduated from East High School in 2013. And over the past few years at Iowa, Cecilia worked as an undergraduate research assistant in one of Dr. Craig Just's labs, participated in Dance Marathon, and conducted a study on switching of LED streetlights for the city of Iowa City. Her interest in sustainability led her to an internship in solar energy, and in September, she was awarded the Rising Woman Fellowship by the Women in Renewable Industries and Sustainable Energy Organization. After graduation, Cecilia will continue her career in solar energy at SoCore Energy Company as a development analyst in Chicago. Cecilia, please come up and give a commencement address. I look forward to hearing what you have to say about your time at Iowa.
Good afternoon. On behalf of myself and my fellow graduates here today, I'd like to extend a warm welcome and a big thank you to all of our family, friends, and faculty here today. When I started preparing this speech, I reflected on my time here at the University of Iowa. A number of themes came to mind that sum up my experience here. A few include Hawkeye football, hours of studying, caffeine, free pizza, endless exams, and of course, corn. While all great options, I decided that the theme most representative of my time here is construction. This theme is fitting, as we are all engineers who will use what we have learned during our time at Iowa to design and construct infrastructure, software programs, medical devices, production systems, machinery and equipment, among other applications. The theme of construction started to take shape during my journey to Iowa City for my first year of college. As my parents and I drove from Colorado, we experienced many delays due to construction closures along Interstate 80. Each day, after I moved into my dorm, I witnessed the progress of Mary Louise Peterson Residence Hall being built right next door. A couple of years later, construction on the new engineering annex began. Having spent many hours in the Siemens Center, this is another project I witnessed closely. These were just two of the large projects happening around campus that required a lot of time, effort, and sacrifices by those involved. I remember seeing construction workers bearing our frozen Iowa winters to maintain schedule, and the professors whose schedules were interrupted by classroom changes or unplanned fire alarms. While these projects may have inconvenienced our community at one time or another, they were a part of the construction boom on campus that has resulted in 7 incredible buildings built or expanded since we arrived, with another 7 in the works. Without the sacrifice of minor conveniences, long working hours, and occasional evacuations, we would not have this beautiful building in which we are graduating, or the state-of-the-art annex for future Hawkeye engineers, or the cutting-edge children's hospital that has gained national recognition for its new tradition, the wave from Kinnick Stadium. We are fortunate to have attended a school that embraces opportunities for growth and improvement. Much like the physical development we witnessed throughout the last few years on campus, we experienced our own development. We grew as students and as friends, as teammates and as community members. Our growth and improvement was also, at times, the result of some challenges and valuable lessons learned. Beyond the differential equations and circuits problems, we learned how to live on our own, away from our families. We learned what ignites our curiosity and what does not. We learned about the careers we might pursue, and we learned that we are often capable of much more than we previously imagined. And we learned that 2 hours of sleep and 5 cups of coffee is not a sustainable lifestyle. The degree we receive today is the result of constructing ourselves through our experiences at the University of Iowa. To my fellow graduates, once you leave this auditorium and enter the next steps of your life, I urge you to not only maintain what you have built and developed while at Iowa, but continue to build through new experiences and learning opportunities. I would also ask that you take a moment to consider those who helped you get here and consider how you can be the source of support and encouragement for somebody else. We are all the building blocks of society, and empowering those around us will only improve the development of a better world. Congratulations, class of December 2017.
Thank you, Cecilia, for those excellent thoughts on your experiences here at Iowa. Next, I will present the Outstanding Senior Award, which is selected by the Engineering Student Council and is presented to an individual who demonstrates exceptional character, exhibits behavior of lifelong learning, and is an active, engaged, and well-respected member of the College of Engineering at the University of Iowa as a whole. The award is chosen based on nominations received from current faculty members and students alike, and this will be a surprise for today's recipient. So I'll give some clues by reading this profile, and then we'll recognize a very deserving recipient today. This year's recipient has served as a student leader in a number of capacities, including a senator in the university's student government and president of the National Society of Black Engineers. They have helped to organize outreach events for future engineers, such as Black Girls Do Science, which helps to teach underrepresented elementary and middle school students about STEM fields. And they're known for having an infectious enthusiasm for learning. They're graduating with a dual major, industrial engineering and finance, as well as a minor in mathematics. I suspect you figured it out, but I'm very pleased to announce that the recipient of this year's Outstanding Senior Award is Siddig Siddig. So come on up. Congratulations. Thank you. So let's go out so we can get a photograph. I want to mention that a few of our graduates are wearing regalia signifying their membership in honor societies, including white and lavender cords for the Society of Women Engineers. Please stand if you're wearing these cords. White and maroon cords for Omega Chi Epsilon. So let's recognize these students. Next, we'll recognize students who will be earning honors. Graduates, please stand if you're earning university honors, which is earned through a combination of honors coursework and other enrichment activities such as research, study abroad, and internships. Yes. All right, let's recognize these. Thank you. Now we'll recognize students who achieve distinction for graduating in at least the top 10% of all students in the College of Engineering as measured by grade point average. Would these students please stand? So the levels of distinction are indicated by stars on their gown. All right, let's recognize them and then. So 3 stars designate highest distinction, which is the top 2% of students. 2 stars designate high distinction, which is the next 3%. And 1 star is distinction, the next 5%. Thank you. We also have students who are graduating who have completed the requirements for certificates in technological entrepreneurship, wind energy, or sustainability. Will these students please rise? So these students completed a series of courses to provide them with depth of understanding in a specialized area that complements the engineering curriculum and prepares them for success in the 21st century. Now I am delighted to introduce Professor and alumnus Mark Wisner, who will deliver the charge to the graduates and will be inducted into our Distinguished Engineering Alumni Academy. Dr. Wisner earned a BA degree in 1978 from Coe College in Cedar Rapids, an MS degree in Civil and Environmental Engineering from the University of Iowa in 1980, and a PhD in 1985 from Johns Hopkins University. Dr. Wisner holds the James B. Duke Professorship of Civil and Environmental Engineering in Duke University and is the chair of Civil and Environmental Engineering at that fine university. In 2008, I'm just going to mention some of his amazing accomplishments. I'll jump to 2008. He helped found the Center for Environmental Impacts of Nanotechnology, which he now directs. This center unites institutions and researchers from around the world to explore a vast array of natural and human-made nanomaterials, including their potential for environmental exposure and biological effects, as well as ecological impacts. In 2010, he helped demonstrate that nanoparticles accumulate in living organisms and can become more concentrated as they move further up the food chain, revealing the potential impacts of nanotechnology could have on the environment. His research leadership has earned him accolades that include the 2011 Water Research Institute Clark Prize for Excellence in Water Research and the 2004 Association of Environmental Engineering Science Professors Frontiers in Research Award. In 2015, Dr. Wisner was named a member of the National Academy of Engineering, one of the highest professional distinctions possible for engineers. He was cited for contributions to membrane technologies for water treatment and understanding of environmental behavior and risk of nanomaterials. So Mark, please come forward and I will induct you into the Distinguished Engineering Alumni Academy. Mark will now deliver a charge to our graduates.
Okay, thank you, Dean Scranton. And good afternoon to everyone. This is a little awkward. This is a charge to the graduates, and I'm looking at you here. But thanks to everyone for who had made it possible for inducting me into having this very nice honor. In particular, I want to thank my advisor here at Iowa, Jerry Schnur, who really, meeting him was one of the luckiest things that ever happened to me professionally. He really had a profound effect on everything else that happened to me in my career. And I just hope for all of you, that I'm virtually certain that you've all had a similar sort of professor during your studies here. Anyway, this is not about me, though. This is about you guys. And as I thought about, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm really quite nervous about giving a talk without PowerPoint. It just is, I don't do this. But I went on the web and I looked around. I said, what kind of talks do people give? The only one that really turned my crank was, you know, the bass player Victor Wooten, phenomenal jazz bass player. He gave a talk where he played bass and delivered his talk at the same time. I'm not going to do that today. I am a bass player, but I am no Victor Wooten. What I'd like to do is focus really on the fact that you're about to receive your degree and become the very heart of the science and technology infrastructure of this country. The torch is being passed to you, and there's, you know, they always talk about when you get degrees, the rights and privileges associated with that, and also the responsibility. So there's some responsibility that goes along with that. And so I want to really share with you a few thoughts on the future of science and technology in our society and your role as newly minted graduates in securing the future of science and technology in this country. So with that in mind, my charge to you is be scientific, be ethical, be creative. Okay, so let me kind of break that down a little bit. Be scientific. So science and its applications have been the driving force for innovation and economic growth, as well as security in our country for over 100 years. In fact, books have been written about this in scientific history, about the role of science and engineering in really winning the last two world wars, whether it was the discovery and development of sonar for detecting submarines or the atomic bomb. But what's totally undeniable is that science and technology have been responsible for the lion's share of economic growth, accounting for over half of the increase in GDP in the United States since World War II. And, you know, there's a lot of talk, we're going through it today, over the last few months, about tax policy and so on, and how it affects labor and capital, and whether you're a supply sider or a demand sider. But all of that focuses on the role of, again, labor and physical capital. The Nobel laureate Robert Solow had in fact quantified the contributions of these things to economic growth and concluded that over half, when I say over half, that over half of the growth in the United States since World War II has in fact been due to innovations in science and technology, innovations that you are now going to be taking forward. A former colleague of mine, I was at Rice University before I was at Duke, and a former colleague of mine, Neil Lane, who went on to become director of the National Science Foundation and as well as science advisor to President Clinton, he had estimated at one point that $3.8 billion invested in the Human Genome Project, just as one example. So $3.8 billion, that's a lot of money. But that produced an estimated $800 billion in activity by 2003. That's economic activity that increases tax revenues, it increases employment, and it reduces deficits. So when we talk about science and technology, it's got really palpable impacts throughout our economy. And this extends beyond the private sector. Scientific investment in the environment, health, and infrastructure are really public goods that oil the machinery of innovation and economic growth. I'll just digress. I don't mean to give you some bad news, but I've noticed the economists keep coming up with all these estimates of things. I just noticed that the lifetime, this is very unjust, but the lifetime economic return to an economist is almost double that of an engineer, so sorry. But science and engineering, I hope I made the point, they are important. And right now we're living through a period, as I'm sure you're aware, where science is under attack. There are those who question the legitimacy of the scientific process itself. The fiscal basis for investing in science and technology is being eroded through everything from short-sighted tax policy to decreasing investments in research that make it harder, and certainly will make it harder for the next generation of people like yourself to get your degrees in engineering. Again, to give you another example, Google today employs some 74,000 people with revenues that last year came to about 90 billion. That's B with a B. And that was started by 2 graduate students supported on our National Science Foundation project. We should all be alarmed that the funding of the National Science Foundation over the last few years has been completely flat, and that individually, the countries of South Korea, Japan, Germany, and recently China have all surpassed spending on a GDP basis in fundamental research and education in science and engineering. China has surpassed the U.S. for some time now in terms of the number of graduates in science and engineering. And that's not necessarily bad. We've been able to, the whole history of science and engineering in this country has been one where we've been able to really harvest the innovations that have happened in other countries. Scientific advances in the U.S. have been fueled by a steady stream of immigrants from Einstein to Steve Jobs. The country's thrived by competing for the best brains in the world, and they've come in waves from England, Germany, India, China, and other countries. And while we've been fortunate to harvest the educational benefits of foreign investments in science and technology, the recent immigration policies that we're seeing playing out today are making it harder. I think those of us that are on the faculty already see it harder to recruit some of the best brains from other countries. The cost of ignoring science will be much greater than the loss in economic growth that I've just really referenced. The environmental policies that create an atmosphere of increased uncertainty actually serve to reduce investment in the private sector. But the cost of not understanding or simply ignoring things like global climate change, that'll be catastrophic. This is not really a question of what you believe. You either understand global climate change or you don't. The cost of environmental degradation to human health or ignoring our engineers' warnings about the state of our infrastructure will cost future generations, you and your children and grandchildren, who will inherit both fiscal debt, a crumbling infrastructure, and a degraded environment, as well as a legacy of environmentally based illness. So for your own sake, if not for your children, be scientific. Seek out the facts, question commonly held assumptions, including your own, and consider the implications of the work that you do for society. So this leads me to my second charge. I know I'm only supposed to get one, but I had three there, and I'll wrap this up quickly. There's no sure way to delegitimize science and technology than to cross ethical boundaries. You need to have each other's backs. Your actions as practicing engineers will affect not only your own standing in the community, but the very nature of how your profession and your professional community and livelihoods are viewed. It's a matter of job preservation, as well as just having pride in the quality of your work. So part of your ethical responsibility is to consider how the technologies, the projects you're involved in, the discoveries you may make, and so on will impact society and the environment. Engineers are problem solvers, and one dimension of your ethical charge is also to seek out important problems to solve problems that are worthy of the investments that you've made, that your parents have made, the sacrifices of all of you and society in order to get you to where you are today. Finally, be creative. Engineering, I would say, is as creative as any artistic endeavor. You've already found that identifying important problems and asking key questions is the most difficult part in the creative process of engineering. The creative solutions follow, but identifying the problems and asking the key questions, that has to lead. Creativity means taking chances. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure is scientific. It's experimentation. It's my hope, even though this might sound like a curse, that you're haunted by the doubt throughout your careers, that you're not asking good questions, that you're not identifying meaningful problems or taking enough risk. Because when you do that, when you have that doubt, it's the equivalent of the artist, being afraid that they've lost their artistic muse. The doubt that you're not being creative enough is exactly what will push you towards creativity and achievement that will improve your work and the satisfaction that you derive from it. So once again, my charge to you is be scientific, be ethical, be creative, be Hawkeyes.
Well, thanks, Mark, for those amazingly wise words to our graduates. Next, we will confer the degrees to this graduating class. Sue Curry, the University of Iowa Executive Vice President and Provost, will confer the Bachelor of Science in Engineering degrees upon our students. So will the candidates for degree, Bachelor of Science in Engineering, please rise. Provost Curry, these candidates, having completed all of the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science in Engineering, are recommended to you by the faculty of the College of Engineering for the conferring of this degree.
On recommendation of the faculty of the College of Engineering and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, State of Iowa, I confer on each of you the degree Bachelor of Science in Engineering as qualified and designated.
Great. Well, let's clap for you. So graduates, you may now be seated, and we will individually recognize the recipients of the Engineering Baccalaureate degrees. Provost Curry will join me in offering our congratulations to each graduate. Feel free to applaud when the graduates are recognized. Tanya Peoples will introduce each degree candidate individually. Tanya is the College of Engineering's Associate Dean for Diversity and Outreach. She leads a team that recruits students to campus and helps create a welcoming and supportive environment. And I'm sure she's delighted to help in the celebration today.
Will the candidates for degrees in biomedical engineering please rise and assemble on this side of the podium, or the platform, sorry. Will Department Executive Officer Nicole Grosslin please come forward to represent the biomedical engineering program? Jessica Battistini. Connor Bryant, minor philosophy. Dennis Cuvallo. Rachel Davidson, minor mathematics. Alyssa Esquivel. Olivia Flammy, high distinction, University honors. Brianna Hickey, minor, French. Jennifer Jeffers, distinction, University honors, minor, psychology. Kevin Konornschild, second major, music. Alexis Leggett. Donaldo Jose Lopez Maldonado. Mitchell Miller, minor, business administration. Parker Reinecke. Department Executive Officer Alan Guyman will represent the Chemical and Biochemical Engineering program. Carson Hemphill, minor, chemistry. Maria Karagogova. Carrie Lindberg, University honors, minors, business administration, chemistry, and mathematics. Katie McCleary. Shandy Porter, minor, chemistry. Department Executive Officer Michelle Shearer is representing the Civil and Environmental Engineering Program. Daniel Condon, Sustainability Program Certificate. Taryn Golson, minors, Business Administration and Mathematics. Brant Gressel. Caleb Noonan. Sean Park. Garrett Tierney, minor, Business Administration. Nicholas Turner, minor, Business Administration. Cecilia Darby Wolf, minor, Mathematics, Technological Entrepreneurship Certificate. Associate Professor Matthews Jacob will represent the Electrical and Computer Engineering Program. Andrew Franklin. Adam Golding, minor, Mathematics. Jonathan Heitland. Jacob Connor Hinkle. Robert Brian Isaacson. Sydney Knox, highest distinction. Samuel Maloof, minor, Mathematics, Technological Entrepreneurship Certificate. Luke R. Meyer, minor, Mathematics. Weston Nessler, minor, Computer Science. Fong Wen. Zachary Swanson, University Honors. Zach Williamson, minor, Mathematics. Professor Yang Chen will represent the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering programs. We will begin with the Industrial Engineering graduates. Ashley Althaus, minor, Business Administration. Zachary Wheeler Brenneman, minor, Business Administration. Alexander Burke. Taishin D. Rachel Hageman, distinction, minor, Business Administration and Mathematics. Brock Hoffman, minor, Business Administration. Jordan Junk. Matthew Knudsen. Alec Lavelle. Mackenzie McCluth, minors, Computer Science and Spanish. Siddig, second major, Finance with distinction, University Honors, minor, Mathematics. Daniel Witzel. Solomon Wilharm, minors, Psychology and German. And finally, the mechanical engineering graduates. Gabrielle Armeda, University Honors, minors Mathematics and German. Kipton Robert King Behringer, minor Mathematics. Aubrey Clay Jr., minors Computer Science and Mathematics. Dylan Dieter, minor Mathematics. Jordan Fine, minor Mathematics. Christian Hansen, minors Business Administration and Mathematics.
I wrote it in.
Okay. William Heen, minor Mathematics. Abdul Rahman Ishmael, University Honors, minor Mathematics. Brian Karich, minor Mathematics. Christopher Lamptey, Wind Energy Certificate. Noel Martinez, minors Business Administration and Mathematics. Eric Menson. Triet Nguyen, minor Mathematics. Jacob Petrek, distinction, minor Mathematics. Harley Pranger, minor Mathematics. Chase Stevenson, minor Mathematics. Brian Von Arb, minor Mathematics. Winbo Wang. Chiwei Zhu.
Yeah.
Please join me in congratulating everyone for their hard work and accomplishments. The College of Engineering faculty and staff have truly enjoyed teaching, mentoring, and supporting this wonderful group of people as they achieve their academic goals. We are happy to continue our relationship with them as Iowa Engineering alumni. We wish you all the best.
Now, graduates, I have one last assignment for you. Please turn your tassels to the left side of your caps, and you're officially alumni of the College of Engineering. One more chance to celebrate, I guess. Yeah? Yeah. Finally, I want to say that as engineers, you're equipped to make essential contributions to this nation and to the world. You have a responsibility to bring your talents, understanding, and expertise to bear on the problems facing the world. I hope you will be guided by the highest ethical standards, with great respect for our environment, and a genuine commitment to human values. Indeed, we wish you the best of success in your career and in your future. And thank you all for joining us. Please remain seated until all of the graduates have left the auditorium.